Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Petey. Say what's rocking, Petey.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, today we're talking about this Kickstarter we found, Heavy Metal Library Unlocks. I don't know if it's still going to be around. As you can see, it's 72 hours only, but wow. Today were they successful with this Kickstarter? $817,000. What do you take with this, Petey? This is the classic heavy metal comic that they're coming out with different eras of their books. What do you think about this, Petey?
Well, you have to imagine that heavy metal was very influential to artists, and then it was also very risque. So you had those two elements, and it seemed like maybe the artist could grow up into being something that does into this type of material or do something else. But it was also bringing in stuff like, now this isn't the entire library of stuff, but it has the covers, and then we have three different other things that connect to stories that were major in heavy metal. We also had, I think, the movie that came out that's connected to it. That's just to say how big at the time heavy metal was. And I think it's in overseas, it was Metal Hurlant. I think that's how they pronounced it. So it was a big thing, international type of thing. And we also had for comic books, I mean, they said you had Steranko who had done, I don't know if we can see this. He actually, I'm gonna get to Steranko later. He did this graphic novel. You have who's that guy? Yeah, Will Eisner who did his graphic novel, but when what's that thing? I have it here somewhere. Where is it? That's not it. This shouldn't even be here. But when Alien came, Alien was initially published in heavy metal, and then when the after the movie, when the movie came out, some point later, they put it into this one volume, the illustrated story, and this is the basis for the Marvel and DC type thing, which is magazine size graphic novel. And that's what you're given, a wider thing than the comic books. So you say, here's like the heavy metal thing or magazine. The comic books are smaller than that. So it's giving the artist a little more space to play with. So this is one of the volumes. I think which I was a fan of, what you see this background here, Outland was also the film adaptation was also done in heavy metal, and he had a different approach than Alien, where this was a straightforward comic book with him and Archie Goodwin, the classic award-winning team. Steranko had done like it would be like a 6-page inserts that were kind of double size, the double page spreads. So, and these are just the comic book guys that got into that. But then we have this here, which is taking some of their more celebrated works and putting it into there. So their covers, which even if towards the years, people would check the covers out and be like, well, this is pretty intense. So you have here you have this time has already passed for the limited edition version, but you can still get all four of the regular version. But all these covers, and side note, Kevin Eastman at one point owned heavy metal and kept it going for a while with his initial
Wow,
success with the
know
Turtle.
that.
Yeah, he also married Julie Strain, so she appeared on the covers too. So you have Ranks, who's there, this classic story. You got segments. Um, and there's also, which the thing is interesting is there's so many, there's other comic creators that were involved. Um, but here we have it. You get all of this stuff, this library stuff for $200. And so this is a major thing for um any of the art of the period. Because this was doing not stuff like Marvel, but it was in the same sort of vein, and it led Marvel to do Epic. So Epic was kind of the Marvel version of heavy metal, and I think from my limited knowledge, outside of only having a few things from heavy metal, that's as much as I know to say. But it went really well. It had a 10,000 goal, and as of right now, they got 19 days to go. and it's it's only 200,000 space from a million. So they're doing well. You also have to produce all those books, but at the same time, you do right by the people who are pledged. They should be getting these books, and it says there is more things to go. The hard part is there is Shakespeare for Americans that Jim Starlin and Walter Simonson had done. They also had Chaikin, everyone part of their Upstart Studios. They're only one page thing, so it's not something that you would reprint. But I always would love for people to interact, and I think Simonson brought that up, saying, we really should have done more with this because this seems like a fun idea. That's what I got.
I no, I agree, but I mean, the Kickstarter is a great place to look for comics. I mean, you find stuff that you like. They had a GI Joe run, what, last year that was pretty huge. Almost
Transformers too.
Transformers, yeah. So it's a place you could find, and a lot of times it also migrates over to the comic book stores or into the bookstores. But here's where you can really get these products up and off the ground. I mean, there's a lot of people use it just to get things started to see the popularity. Like right now, not only is heavy metal doing well, but look at Top Cow. Top Cow has a the Art of Sunstone. This It only has 24 days left to go, but it's already raised $250,000. And you're like, wow. I
Really?
didn't think that thing I
Let's
did not think that would be that big. So him just
Top
making it.
Cow?
Top cow.
Now
Stepped on the
I
scene.
have to call. I have to say that damn Mark Silvestri and his Silvestri babes and him doing the comic book interview with the babes that look like his comic babes. So the fact is, he's a giant. I'm guessing he dyes his hair now. He's still a giant. He still has his hair, and he has so. But I don't think probably married, family, and all that stuff. But we're back in the days, like I was like, how does he have the Sylvester babe in there? You only get to see, his face. He doesn't know how tall he was, but it's just like he's got a Sylvester babe. It doesn't make any sense. Like he's a comic guy, but he's also a very good storyteller. He's a very good storyteller. So I'm all for him having his. I'm joking. All for him having a huge success. I'm glad that Top Cow seemed to be the one to really do it right. They stayed in the creator owned business. They brought up a lot of talent like Dave Finch, a lot of people who kind of leaning towards the Jim Lee or Silvestri style. They kind of came from that thing. So, he's definitely a talent. And I'm glad he kind of found his own way outside of when he was working with Jim Lee. So because he was always a great storyteller. So and they would always say how great they was. I think Rob Liefeld liked to point out that Silvestri was the best of the crew, but I think it's a little to kind of push Jim Lee down. But the hard part is, and I'm saying no to the gem and the holograms. I do have an inkling of wanting to get it, even though it's almost 400% funded. But I had to hold back and say I can't buy it. I have a bunch of Kickstarters that haven't come through yet that are good ones that I can't wait to get. So, but there's some of the ones I've been interested in was heavy metal, was gem, because I watched a cartoon and I would love to see if the comic book held up. And is there anything else here?
This was a heavy metal only foray into this because I mean they did a Kickstarter before
Yeah, they had
when they
two.
did
They
the
said they
Metal
had
magazine.
two there.
Yeah, and they've all done relatively well. I mean the last one I think raised what $782,000, almost 800,000. So
They
this is
said,
definitely playing. So they have done more than one Kickstarter in the past. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about right there.
what was
So
this? Oh,
this one's
read this
closed.
in issue one?
Issue
Wow.
one.
I mean,
Yeah,
fulfilled it. Okay, let's see what it says. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, crazy, right? So they had all kinds of stuff. So heavy metal, while no longer is on demand on the comic shows or the news shows, is still getting it right, especially in this particular medium. And one thing I don't know if you remember in the cons they had like the Kickstarter used to go to the cons and encourage people to on creators to plug stuff in and to be part of the community. And I think they've done a really good job, at least along the comics and graphic novel, amongst others, getting people to join this stuff. And I mean, and it's not only them too. You can go to Indiegogo; they do their own things too. So you
Hmm.
can find stuff, a lot of things there too, from comic creators.
I
Yeah,
don't. It's weird because I actually had. Well, I had the cover of the woman sitting on the chair with the orbs. I had
yeah,
that
you have that.
cover. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had that cover because when I was getting the Steranko issues, I had to get, I mean, they were relative, they weren't really that expensive to get. So it was interesting to get those. And I don't know why they're not mentioning Walter Simonson because he was a big part of it too. So, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that this did well. It'll do issue one and will Frazetta cover and it be hugely successful, that it's back.
yeah, it is. And this one I think was done in June, so I guess they're getting their act together. They're like, hey, there's something here. If between this one and the last one, you've made $1.5 million. That's quite a bit, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the name? And I guess it's the precursor to what they had in England, which was Warrior that had V for Vendetta, the Warrior magazine. So I mean, it wasn't as the heavy metal was a little more risque. And saying that about the British talent is kind of weird, but heavy metal was way more risque than Warrior. But you had the stuff like V for Vendetta. So and obviously Marvel Man. So, but those are more superhero fare. Even though V Vendetta is a little darker than that, but the stuff in heavy metal was, very, very artsy for the time, and it was something that artists were thinking about trying to get into, or maybe the next step. So, yeah, so they got two things going. They did the initial first issue. I mean, it'd be crazy if they re-released it in one to what's I don't know if that would work, but it's cool to see that they were able to get this going.
Yeah, I
And
mean, look, you have to you. I mean, you have other studios. If you go back to some of the most funded things, you had that Berserker by Keanu Reeves, where
yes, yeah,
Boom Studio
talked about
used it.
that.
I think Boom Studios used that a couple of times for some of the things. The Expanse. I don't know if you know the TV show The Expanse.
Yeah, yeah.
They did pretty good with that one too. I mean, they got almost 900,000 for the Expanse, and now they have it in the that comic book is in the what do you call it? In the comic book
Oh,
stores.
okay.
So
Well,
which is so the point I'm trying to make is that the others who are using they had different different stories. Like Boom is now using it for some of his projects, and this is becoming what do you call it for some of these companies, like the Gem and the Hologram, which is also by Boom. They're using this as another income stream, right? And
yeah,
also
yeah.
to vet whether people are interested in these type of comics going forward. And I think it's great, you know.
Well, you have to also imagine that who is it? We had a creator. You have well, the ones that I can call attention to are going to my account. Yes, pull this over. Yeah, the Illuminati that with the what's the name with Dennis Cohen and Charlemagne the God that oh yeah, 35,000. I got a few that's coming. Dracula, that's like a 6-part thing that's
Have you
going
got
on.
the Illuminati?
Huh?
Has you finally gotten the Illuminati?
I have not gotten it yet. But it already went out to all the main people. I think they have a thing where you have to do a survey and I did it late, so I just gotta check on it. But I got so far, Psychic Sam, which is the new run of stuff by who's
Mark
that
Miller.
guy? Mark Miller. And
Yeah.
so it's a new thing. It's kind of like what's that thing? Unbreakable without him being super powerful. Um, Body Bags with the Artist Who Passed, that's coming out. Dracula's already been out. I only had the digital copy of number one, but I'm gonna get the regular copy soon. So they have to book three, taking the story of Vlad the Impaler and expanding on it. So, it's a very dark book. So yeah, it's a lot of things going on in the Kickstarter realm, and Ronda, I think it was Ronda Rousey. She had her book, but she's already did the successful thing, but she's still working out and selling it, canvassing and selling the book out there to the public. So it's definitely a way. The hard part is is it's a creator that I would love to do Kickstarters, which would be John Byrne, but at the same time he kind of looks at this is more in the vanity type of press for just your specific creators. And this is a
Does he
book I
see how much is, does he see how much is being made using this stuff?
he was also a mass media guy, you know. That's where he kind of looked at it as I mean, when he left, he was like, hey, the numbers aren't there, and he left, and then he tried it again. But I think if Chris Ryle was able to get him to do, they did finishing some, but that's actually being published. The X-Men thing is being published. If we get him to do some creator owned stuff, I'm pretty sure they would kind of go right to the and say, hey, we're doing a dual thing because that's what Steve Rude does. Steve Rude does. Now, Steve Rude was actually, I mean, I felt for his wife. He was like, I'm going into fine art, and then they were struggling, like they really struggling. Even though he's a great painter, like it's just trying to be that next guy is not the thing. But he's doing like Norman Rockwell type of things. But then them doing Kickstarter, they have two, and actually there's a bunch of Nexus things out there, but there's two done by Steve Rude. They were successfully funded. I'm not sure if they were still on Kickstarter. I think the first one was. The other one might be another, but there's another Kickstarter for the Nexus. Um, just like the GI Joe, that was another successful one. So it's definitely a market, and a lot of my favorite creators are doing it. But at the same time, some creators are, have put their time in the game, like Burn. So there's no need to say I need to do another book, or say I need the money to do another book, that sort of thing. With Steve Rude, wife, kids, not that old, probably, kind of our age or maybe a little bit older, maybe just hitting 60, and he's been doing comics and struggling for the entire time. Maybe some real sell, and then but doing that, they put out comic books to the stores. They put out the those crowdfunded thing, and then they've also now they have a third one. He's doing the prelim book first, then they'll have the comic books and the Kickstarter book or a crowdfunded book also. So it's multiple money things coming in for him, which is good because he also had to move the thing of showing some of his struggles. But and I was a fan of Mike Allred's Madman. So it's cool to see this guy doing stuff. He's another guy who's kind of like Mark Silvestri, who's like he almost looked like a movie star. And even though he definitely had friends in the game, they were like, he doesn't look like what an artist is supposed to be. And now he look a little, older and has like a goatee and whatnot, and turned from a movie star to a rocker. It's like, no, I haven't never been kind of like, I've just been a regular guy just drawing comic books. It's like, you too regular. But definitely another talent, one I was a fan of. So, and still is. So, but yeah.
Cool. All right, hey. So if there's anything else, give us a comment, subscribe, thumbs up, spin a rack.
Check out Heavy Metal, even though we strayed to all the other Kickstarter stuff. We're out.
2 hours.